Hi everybody, it's Usernamekate and welcome back to the channel. Ta-da! Today I am riding Triumph's Trident 660 and this is Trident tested because it's not a wholly new model. However, there are some crazy changes to this bike. There are 5 notable ones which I'll go through in my video, but you're not going to want to miss them. So if you want to find out what I think about this bike, then keep watching. Here we have Triumph's 2025 Trident 660. So for 2025 we have some totally new features. We have a 6-axis IMU with cornering ABS and traction control, Triumph Shift Assist, a new sport mode, Triumph connectivity and cruise control. Now the bike starts from £7,895 in jet black, but for just £100 extra you can get this bike in Diablo Red and Sapphire Black, Cosmic Yellow and Sapphire Black, and Cobalt Blue and Sapphire Black. If we look at the suspension, it has been updated for 2025. It used to have Showa split function forks, but now it has 41mm upside down Showa split function big piston forks. The big piston part is where the upgrade is. Then on the rear we have a Showa monoshock with preload adjustability. With the brakes we have twin 310mm discs and Nissin 2-piston sliding calipers. Then on the rear we have a 255mm disc with a 1-pot sliding caliper. This bike is A2 compatible, so if you're still on an A2 licence, you can get this bike restricted by Triumph in the way of a throttle adjustment and a tune which can be put back once you've passed your full test. That restricts it to 35 kilowatts, which is what's needed in order to be A2 compliant. Then once you've passed, they can release it, de-restrict it, and you're free to roam around with 81 brake horsepower. Right, let's get to the riding. Right everybody, it is time to ride. Okay, right, let's fire her up. Ooh, ram bam bam bam. So that is what the Trident looks like in the Diablo Red. Okay guys and girls, I'm out riding the 2025 Triumph Trident. This is so cool because I last rode this bike an age ago. When I say an age ago, I'm not joking. I think this bike was initially launched in 2020 during the, start of the Rona era, the dreaded Rona era that will go down in history. And over the years it's had a few colour scheme changes. They brought out the Triumph Triple Tribute, I want to say. There's 3 T's in that. In a bright bold colour last year with some extra updated tech features. And then for 2025 they've just gone all out. They've just gone all out with features and tech that are way above its class grade in my opinion. Triumph are eclipsing the competition. Nationality baby. Yeah, they're absolutely eclipsing it. So as mentioned in the intro, we've got the new things, haven't we? We've got the 5 key new areas. So we've got the 6-axis IMU, which gives this bike lean sensitive traction control and ABS. And it's not something that you're supposed to be able to feel working because it's just that seamless. But it is calculating everything, all the lean angles, what the bike's doing, what you're doing with your throttle hand. And basically it's just there to make life safer. But yeah, the fact this bike has a 6-axis IMU blows my mind. It blows my mind because that's some expensive tech. That's some expensive stuff. So as mentioned, we got the 6-axis IMU, we got the cornering ABS and traction control, or lean sensitive traction control and ABS. National, yeah. enough power to overtake a big long line of cars. A new thing it's got for 2025 is the introduction of a dedicated sport mode, which I think one of the complaints of the earlier models, or certainly up to 2024, I think one of the owners' complaints was that the throttle isn't the most responsive feeling throttle like on the market out there, and Triumph have hoped to they've listened to the feedback and they've given the people what they want, hopefully. So as well as that, a new wild update, cruise control. I've not managed to use it yet because we've been on kind of roads like this, but it's just a nice simple button there, and if it's anything like the cruise control of the Tiger Sport 800 and 660, it'll just be a pretty basic button press to set the speed. There's no fancy up and down of the speed. It is a very, like I said in my Tiger Sport 800 review, a very Billy Bog standard cruise control. But hey, I am not knocking it. I am grateful because, that's more than can be said for all the competitors in the genre. None of them are rocking cruise control. Oh, look at this beautiful twisty road. Quick shifter and auto blipper are standard. What the heck, Triumph? I mean, that is lovely. That is... Oh, I feel like it makes people that don't necessarily, have the desire for a street triple. I feel like it's still giving people like really fun features that they didn't have to include. But yeah, a quick shifter and auto blipper on this bike do aid the funness, totally. And then we've got connectivity. We've got connectivity with the 2025 model, so you can connect your phone to the dash using Triumph's dedicated app. I think it's My Triumph, I want to say. So yeah, all in all, 5 new features that I think are absolute game changers for this bike. In fact, I think you might be kicking yourself if you've just picked up a 24 model, to be honest. Especially given the fact that the price of the 2025, I think it's coming in like £50 more expensive than the 2024 model was selling for. So that amount of money for all that extra tech is like negligible, isn't it? It's wild. I do wonder if you'll be able to retrospectively fit some of these new cool things onto the 2024 and earlier, but I don't know. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I wouldn't see that they would, because then it'll take away from the 2025 sales. But maybe they're thinking, well, actually, there are a few things that are retrofittable, so we'll look after them. You just don't know, do you? You just don't know. I'll try and get in the ribs of Triumph and see if they've got some answers on that one. But what I really, really, really like about the Trident 660, like one of the key standout features for me is the design of it. It is touching on that retro design as opposed to the plastic looking insect motorcycles that you have out nowadays. They're designed to look quite sporty, and there's nothing wrong with that, or even Street Fighter, there's nothing wrong with that, but no one's really doing a nice roadster like this, a retro roadster, like with a single round headlight and the beautiful curves and the colours this year. Wow, I'm really impressed. There's a lot of choice. Again, another thing that's pretty unique to Triumph is it's the only bike in its class that rocks a triple engine. There's lots of twins and parallel twins, but there isn't anything that's got that triple-y goodness in its body. And you know what they say about triples, it's the best of both worlds, isn't it? It's the low-down grunt of a twin, but the top-end feeling of an inline. Like, one thing to note now is we're in second gear and we're going very, very slowly through this town. Like I'm doing 20 miles an hour. Second gear, throttle is nice and steady, nice and smooth, not hunting, not surging. This is in sport mode. We'll accelerate to third gear, but we're still going very, very slowly. It's just lapping it up. So with the throttle feelings, I'll use the 400, the Speed 400 and the Scrambler 400X as examples here. When I rode that on the launch, through town in second gear, I definitely found the throttle a bit hunty, a bit surgy, but yeah, there is no feeling of that with the Trident 660. 90% of the torque is available everywhere, all through the rev range. So even though you've got the peak at 6,250, you know, you've got pretty much almost all of it available before that, all through the revs. But the engine is great, sounds good. So, another thing about this bike, super, super accessible. Oh my gosh. So it has a seat height of 805mm, which is great for me because I was not blessed with height. I was not. My dad's a unit, my sister's tall. What about me? I clearly missed out in the gene pool party. So yeah, I'm not gifted. I stand at 5'4", which is 162 centimetres, and I have a 29-inch inside leg measurement, which is 73.66 centimetres. And I'll insert some footage now of what it's like for my punk ass to sit on this bike. Not only is it low, it's also pretty light, 190 kilograms. And honestly, the lowness and the lightness really does translate into proper fun flickability on the road. Oh, look at this. This is a fun road to play on by the looks of things. Sweep it around, flippity floppity, don't stoppity. Ooh. Tank capacity on this, 14 litres, so this is just a press ride, a UK press ride, so you know, I'm not going to be able to tell you exactly how many miles I've got till I empty the tank. I'm 2 bars down at the moment. But yeah, let's try and ride it through the town in a fairly high gear. So we're in 4th, we're doing 30 mile an hour in a 30. It's not chugging, it's not struggling. Let's knock it up into 5th. Again, it's absolutely fine. And we'll risk it in 6th gear. It's just dealing with it lovely. Don't get me wrong, you won't get fast acceleration from 6th gear in a 30 doing 30 miles an hour. But actually, having said that, it picks up alright. We're in a 30 in 6th gear. We've just gone into a 50. Crack it open. Do you know what? That's a respectable pull to the speed limit from 30 in 6th gear. I think that's fairly respectable. So we're in a 50, so I'm going to set the cruise. Okay, so I'm in 6th gear and I've set it to 50 miles an hour because we're in a 50. And as you can see, we've got the cruise control set. But there is no option to slow the speed down or anything like that. So as with the 800, if you press the button, it doesn't switch it off, so you have to press, you know, like a clutch, dip the clutch, press the brakes a little bit, wind on the throttle. Yeah, so far I've got to say I'm pretty impressed. I'm pretty impressed. Well everybody, I am back from riding the 2025 Triumph Trident 660 and honestly, what a pleasure it has been. It is such a fun and friendly bike to ride. And I say friendly because of its super low seat height, super low weight, and just general flickability and manoeuvrableness. Is that a word? Manoeuvrableness? You know what I'm trying to get at. I definitely feel like it is a bike that can suit any kind of rider, somebody who's looking to, you know, maybe downsize in engine capacity and power. You know, it's got 80 brake horsepower, which is still enough. It's still good fun. It still gets up to motorway speeds very swiftly. Even if you don't want kind of license losers in your garage, you know, this is, I mean, you can certainly still do enough damage on this because, you know, there's 30 speed limits about and this bike will far exceed those, but it definitely is a better bike to keep hold of your license for sure. So one of the key things for me is just how easy to ride this bike is. And I know I say that a lot with a lot of bikes that I do ride, but I'm going to justify exactly why I'm saying that about this bike. So for a start, the power is, it's enough to have fun, but it's not enough to go crazy. I feel like 80 brake horsepower is that beautiful spot where it's like, it's not too much power that, you know, it's going to be goading you to go really, really fast and, you know, potentially lose a license, but it's still enough power to really, you know, crack on with those overtakes, pick its feet up, get up to speed, get up to motorway speed very, very quickly and very seamlessly. So that is one of the reasons why it's so easy to ride in my opinion. Another reason is that throttle. Even in sport mode adds a more crispy element to it. I tried a little bit in road and in sport and you can feel that difference. It does just have a bit more of a pep in its step with the sport mode, which I think a lot of previous owners of the Trident 660 will appreciate as an upgrade. But yeah, the throttle is nice, it's crisp, but as I mentioned, at the town speeds, when you're going slow, it's not hunty, it's not surgy. It behaves exactly how you'd want a throttle to behave, predictable and just smooth. So that is another reason why this bike is so easy to ride. Another reason it's easy to ride, quick shifter and auto blipper always makes for fun riding, especially when you're on the country lanes in the nationals in the UK. You can really crack on a little bit, and just being able to bash up the box and go down the box with ease without using that clutch is quite convenient, but also quite fun. And another reason why it's easy to ride, just the seat height, so low, 805mm, which is great for people like me. When we're at the photo stops, it's dead easy for me just to stop, spin it around, put my feet down with full confidence. And you know, not everybody is a 6-foot Glamazonian goddess or god out there. You know, there are hobbits like me, and you know, us hobbits need looking after as well. So Triumph have definitely looked after us with the Trident 660. Right, so I want to talk about a few pros. Obviously I've just covered generally the easy to rideness of this bike, but another pro for me is the colour options for this year. I think they're absolutely stunning and Triumph have done an amazing job at picking the colours. There's kind of something for everyone with the blue, red and yellow, and then if you really like understated, you've got the black one. So yeah, they've given a lot of variety, and the fancy paint jobs are an extra £100 more. They're not like £500 more, £700 more, which would just be obscene. So you can kind of stomach that cost a little bit better. The build quality, like the fit and finish, the engine, the parts, the lack of panel gaps, just like everything about it looks well put together, well built. And to be honest, that is kind of typically Triumph, so I wouldn't expect anything less, to be honest. But no, the engine is great, fun, the handling is responsive, and yeah, it's just a really, really lovely bike. I love the fact that it's like a roadster with that round headlight and the matching round dash. I think it ties it all in really nicely. If I'm gonna mention some cons, honestly, whilst I've been riding, I've been racking my brains because I'm like, the people need cons, the people need cons. But to be honest, like after that quick ride, it is really hard to find some cons. If I'm being super pedantic, Whilst the build quality and the fit and finish of this bike is phenomenal, these are stickers, these stripes. And I know it's a continuation of the tank, and I think they are stickers on the tank, but they've been lacquered over, so you're not going to jet wash them off. Not that you should jet wash your bikes, but I know everybody does. But with the stickers here, you'd have to be a bit more careful, although I can't imagine them being particularly expensive to replace. But it's not the point, is it? You don't want to peel them off so early into owning the bike. So that would probably be a really pathetic con. Another con, the quick shifter and auto blipper is a welcomed addition. It does make life fun and it makes life easier, but it isn't perfect. Like when I was really winding it on, like really utilising all the revs in second gear, accelerating out of the lay-by for the photo stop. Didn't have my cameras on because it was just the photo opportunity, but it didn't want to get into third. I'm winding it on, I'm not letting it off, I'm not giving it a break, but you know, a good quick shifter should thrive under pressure when you whack it on, and it just really struggled with it for that little bit of the stretch. So if I'm being super picky, you know, it's great that we have the addition and it doesn't cost anything, it's like standard equipment with the bike, but yeah, if I'm being super picky, it really didn't like it when I wound it on, it didn't want to shift. Well guys and girls, what do you think about the Trident 660? I personally think the 5 additions for 2025 have really made a positive difference to the bike. Have you ridden the 2025 model? What are your thoughts? Do comment below, because it's always good to hear everybody's thoughts and feelings on bikes and just broaden the knowledge pool when it comes to new models. Alright guys and girls, well if you've enjoyed this, please hit the subscribe button, and until the next time, see you then. Bye!